So hi all, welcome back to Ego, the skill provider. In this particular video lesson, I'm going to use a very typical phrase. It's a phrase actor. And what's that? So before I can, reveal more about that phrase, let me display that screen before you. And here is the screen. Okay, this is something called here is the screen. And what's that? Just check it out. This is the screen. You can check it out. What you can check it out from there. Supposed to, right? It is something called supposed to. And believe me, supposed to is completely different from suppose. Suppose is something called, for example, if I say, suppose this one, suppose I want to give you 100 bucks, what you will do with that? That means, for example, but whenever I say supposed to, look at the things. Supposed to, it's not a past tense of suppose. Don't be in that world. This is not the past tense of supposed to. Got it? So it is a common phrase that functions the same way a modal verb does. It just works just like a modal. It just like functions the same way as a modal verb. So what are modal verbs you have learned? We have learned the modal verb of opportunity. We have learned the modal verb of advice. We have learned the modal verb of making suggestion. We have learned the modal verb of obligation. We have learned the modal verb of something called compulsion. Upon पढ़िଛନ୍ତି already must, modal verb of obligation. Compulsion or obligation, have to. Modal verb of ability, can. Modal verb of past ability, could. Right? So there's so many modal verbs you have gone. And there are some past modal verbs also. There are certain past modal verbs also. And what are these? Could have, should have, would have. And yesterday, we learned something called must have, can't have, and something called might have. Right? So these are called modal verbs. Got it? So today, I'm going to tell you something called, this is something called a common phrase. This is something called a common phrase. And this common phrase is just like function the same way a modal verb does. But why can you, why exactly we want to use this supposed to? Because whenever we are trying to use modal verb called suppose expectation, there are four such different ways. Charity different situation we can use suppose. The first one is called expectation. The second one is called responsibility. The third one is called obligation. And the fourth one is called duty. Right? If I'll ask you, sir, what is the modal verb you can use for expectation? You can use should. What is the modal verb for responsibility? You can say use like something called should. Duty, also you can use should. And obligation, you can use must or have. So this is always a confusing stage. Sometimes you expect something, sometimes there is a responsibility, there is something called duty, and there is some called obligation. There are four kind of situations are there. And believe me, without using any kind of modal verbs, you can use a single phrase. And what is that? Supposed to, which can cover up all the modals. There is no need of using modal. ତାମାନେ ମୁଁ କଣ କହିବା ପାଇଁ ଚାହୁଁଛି ଯଦି ମୁଁ କହିବି ସାର୍ modal of expectation କଣ ଫର ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ରାଇଟ୍ ନାଉ ଜଣେ ଏକ୍ସପେକ୍ଟେସନ କରୁଛି ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷଟେ ଲାଇକ୍ ଆପଣ 4ଟା ହେଇଗଲାଣି ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଛୁଆ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ସ୍କୁଲରୁ ରାସ୍ତାରେ ଥିବ ତ ଆପଣ ଯେତେବେଳେ କଥାବାର୍ତ୍ତା ହୁଅନ୍ତି ଏବେ ତ 4:15 ହେଇଛି ସେ ଆସୁଛି you are expecting that person or that particular fellow is driving he should be he should doing some work. He should have done some work like that. Responsibility, like you should do this work. Like you have 100% responsibility on it. something called duty. That is also you are using, like should, and also obligation. You are also using something called have to or something called must. But believe me, the moment these are all confusing in nature, there is a single phrase that is called supposed to. It is there, and it is not the past tense of supposed. It is called supposed to. It's completely a phrase. I have given you a lot of phrase, like phrase. What is phrase? Phrase means it is a combination of, okay, it is something called a combination of various words. There are two words are there, supposed and to. This is called a phrase. And this phrase has a different meaning. This phrase has a different meaning altogether. Got it? So you can use it in for different situations. What are the situations? I have already highlighted in red. Expectation, obligation, responsibility, and duty. Now let's learn what is the structure. Aku ame kemti use kariba. Believe me, the structure is something called be plus supposed to plus base form of the verb. It is always used with be verb. What is be verb? Be verb stands for each, are, was, were. Each, are, was, were. Whereas each, are called the present tense and was, were called the past tense. Got it? So here we have something called be plus supposed to plus base form of the verb. What is the base form? Go, went, gone. So go is the base form. Something called do, did, done. So do is the base form. This is very basic things. I already informed you. I have already informed you. Right now, suppose you can use with I. I always take am. I am supposed to. In the past tense, you can say I was supposed to. Third person singular. He, she, it. He is supposed to. She is supposed to. She was supposed to. The same things you can take it for you, we, they. You can use they are supposed to, you are supposed to, we are supposed to, and the past tense is they were supposed to. So what exactly you can understand? You clearly understood that actually supposed to can take only the be verb. It cannot be used independently. It independently used ହେଇପାରିବ ନାହିଁ. Are you getting my point, everybody? ଆପଣ ଯଦି କହିବେ ସାର୍ ମୁଁ ସପୋଜ ଟୁ ଟା ବ୍ୟବହାର କରିବି ୱିଦାଉଟ୍ be verb ହେଇପାରିବ ନାହିଁ. ଆଉ ବି ସେଇଟା have, has, do କାହା ସହିତ ୟୁଜ ହେଇପାରିବନି, କେବଳ be verb. You have to say I am supposed to do that. ଆପଣ କହିବେ ସାର୍ ମୁଁ କହିପାରିବି କି I have supposed to do that? Wrong. Only be verb. That's why just check it out. Be ମାନେ each, are called present tense and was, were called past tense. And why you are supposed to use that? Why you are supposed to use that? You are supposed to use it for different situation. चारिटा different situation रे आमे यूज करी पारिबा. प्रथम है expectation. मु बुझेबी आपन. Something is expected from you. कोन आपन के एक्सपेक्ट करा जाय? फॉर एग्जांपल आपन माने 8:30 रे जॉइन करिया पई मु सदा एक्सपेक्ट कर. यस और नो? आपन भी एक्सपेक्ट करंती जे एक्चुअली सेही समय मु एक्सपेक्टेशन करिया पई मु जॉइन करिया पई आपण भलो इंग्लिश कहिबे बोली मोर गोटे एक्सपेक्टेशन अछि. आपणकर छुआ बा छोट पिला जे अछि तो सेही समय रे आपण माने कोन करंती लाइक जेतळे चाहंती जे गोटे व्हाट आई कैन से लाइक गोटे भलो मार्क रखियो. दैट इज द एक्सपेक्टेशन. बट समथिंग कॉल्ड रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. आपनको आपनको परिवार प्रति रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी अछि, दायित्व अछि. Obligation आपण जोटा करिया पई बाध्य हो. And duty, that is something called duty. Without that you cannot survive in the world. ए चारिटा जिंस आपण लाइफ रे हो. It is happening to your life every day. And in that particular situation, expectation पई हमें should यूज करि परिबा, responsibility पई should यूज करि परिबा, duty पई should यूज करि परिबा, obligation पई have to यूज करि परिबा. किंतु should किबा have to हमें यूज न करी हमें केवल supposed to यूज करी you can make a sentence. I'm going to check it out. Okay, this is the structure. And then think about the tense and type. what kind of tense it can use or time it can use. Remember, it can be used in present tense, it can be used in past tense, it can be used in something called future tense. Okay, future time. There is nothing called future. You were supposed to call me last night. Look, this is called past. Where is there? ତାମାନେ ଆପଣ ମତେ କାଲି ରାତିରେ କଲ୍ କରିବାର ଥିଲା ମୁଁ ଏକ୍ସପେକ୍ଟ କରୁଥିଲି. It is an expectation. You are supposed to be present here at 9 a.m. ତୁମେ ଏଇଠାରେ 9 ରେ present ହବାର ଅଛି. So it is justly you are talking about now because you are is there. And the third things I would like to include, I am supposed to be present at the meeting which is going to be conducted at 7 p.m. That's future time. Suppose by 5ଟା ହେଇଛି ଆପଣ କହୁଛନ୍ତି I am supposed to be present at the meeting which is going to be conducted at 7 p.m. So whether it is a past tense, it is future time, or it is present tense, all the things you are supposed to use something called supposed. Okay, very powerful expression. ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କହିବା ପାଇଁ ଚାହୁଁଛି, it's not a modal. Try to understand, it's not a modal. It acts as a modal. It acts as a modal. It just like functions just like a modal. Like you have already checked it. ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କହିପାରିଥାନ୍ତି you should attend the meeting on time. You are supposed to attend the meeting on time. Try to understand the point. I am not using should have. I am not using use should or could or something like that. Nothing, no modals. Without modals also in this particular, because you know a particular modal represent a particular situation. ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ 20 modals କହିବି. Those who have not attended modal class, except new guys, all the old guys, I request all to visit the video section of the library or check the YouTube. Or if you are not able to get it, please call me off or my team. Then we will be sending you the video link so that you can check it out because modals are very important. ଯଦି ଆପଣ modal ବୁଝି ନାହାନ୍ତି ତାହେଲେ supposed to ବୁଝି ପାରିବେ ନାହିଁ. So that's why after all your modals are over, right now I am going to give you something called supposed to. And believe me, this supposed to has a lot of powerful, you can use it in different powerful situations. Basically in corporate communication, a native speaker or casual conversation, or in your day-to-day life, you can use it every time. I can say suppose ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଗୋଟେ ଛୋଟିଆ ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ ଦେବି. Suppose ମୁକ୍ତିକାନ୍ତ ସାର୍ କୁ ମୁଁ କହିଥିଲି ସାର୍ ଆପଣ ମତେ ଟିକେ 9ଟା ବେଳେ କଲ୍ କରିବେ, ତ କିନ୍ତୁ ସାର୍ କଲ୍ କଲେନି, ତ ମୁଁ କଣ କହିବି? 10ଟାକୁ ମୁଁ କଲ୍ କଲି, ସାର୍ you were supposed to call me by 9 o'clock. ତାମାନେ ମୋର ଏକ୍ସପେକ୍ଟେସନ ଥିଲା, this is something called expectation. ମୋର ଗୋଟେ ଆଶା ଥିଲା ଆପଣ କଲ୍ କରିବେ, so it represent expectation. Suppose ମୁଁ କହିଥିଲି ଯେ like I'll give you some materials, it is my responsibility. So ଆପଣ ମତେ କହିବେ sir you are supposed to provide me some materials but I have not received so far. That is my responsibility, you are trying to remind. Okay, suppose ଆପଣ ସମସ୍ତେ, I am the manager of a company and I have instructed everybody to be present at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So how I am going to express that? You are supposed to be present at the office by 9 o'clock. So this is your obligation, or you can call it duty. Okay. So what exactly you can understand without going through the nitty-gritty of something called modals? You can use this super phrase, and it can simply replace the various modals. ଆପଣ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଗୋଟେ expectation ରେ ଗୋଟେ modals ଲଗେଇବେ, responsibility ରେ ଗୋଟେ modals ଲଗେଇବେ, obligation ରେ ଗୋଟେ modals ଲଗେଇବେ, duty ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ modals ଲଗେଇବେ, କିଛି modals ଲଗାଇବା ଦରକାର. There is a very good phrase. It's a common phrase for all the 4 things. And believe me, this is very, very important. It is for expectation, responsibility, obligation, due. Okay. And this is the structure. Be plus supposed to. Be means each am are. ଆପଣ କହିପାରିବେନି I supposed to. ହବନି. I am supposed to. That's why be. Be. Be means each am are was were. Each am are for present tense and was were for past tense. Got it? And something called tense and time. It can use in present tense. It can use in past tense. It can use in future time. Okay. So let me take some examples for you. Let me take some examples because the topic is very short today, but it's very difficult for you unless until you understand like how it can be used in different situations. So you cannot use it. And ଆପଣ ମତେ ସମସ୍ତେ କୁହନ୍ତି ସାର୍ ଆପଣ ଯୋଉ ସପୋଜ ଟୁ ଟା ୟୁଜ କରୁଛନ୍ତି କଣ ସେଇଟା today you got it because ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କୁହେ ଯେ ଆପଣ ପ୍ରତିଦିନ 10 ମିନିଟ ମାନେ ପ୍ରାକ୍ଟିସ କରିବା କଥା that is your responsibility. I always refer to that. So I can say you are supposed to take 10 minutes of your scheduled time to practice English. So this is something called suppose ଆପଣ ଯେତେବେଳେ ବାହା ମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ଥର ମନ୍ଦିର ଭିତରକୁ ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି সেই ସମୟରେ ଧରନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ମାନେ ମନ୍ଦିର ଭିତରେ ବା କାହା ଘର ଭିତରକୁ ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି କିପ୍ ସାଣ୍ଡାଲ୍ସ ଆଉଟସାଇଡ୍ ଚପଲ ବାହାରେ ରଖନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ଭିତରକୁ ପଳେଇ ଯାଇଛନ୍ତି ପିନ୍ଧିକି ତ ସିଏ କଣ କହିବେ ଆପଣ ୟୁ ଆର୍ ସପୋଜ ଟୁ କିପ୍ ଦିସ୍ ଆଉଟସାଇଡ୍ ମାନେ ଏଇଟା ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଏକ୍ସପେକ୍ଟ କରାଯାଏ ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ମିଟିଂ ରେ ଅଛନ୍ତି ପାଟିତୁଣ୍ଡ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ତ ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କଣ କହିବି ୟୁ ଆର୍ ସପୋଜ ଟୁ ବି ୟୁ ଆର୍ ସପୋଜ ଟୁ ବି ସାଇଲେଣ୍ଟ or you are supposed to be keep mom means be silent that is expected so something is expected from you also and it is your duty to let me take out the four sentences and you can easily understand first expectation ମୁଁ କଣ expect you are supposed to be present at my birthday party suppose mukti kansar is my friend ତ ମୁଁ ତାଙ୍କୁ କହିଛି you are supposed to be present at my birthday party ଏଟା ମୋ expectation ଅଛି as a friend ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କଠୁ ଆଶା କରୁଛି expectation ମାନେ hope ଆଶା କରିବି more expectation ଅଛି obviously you are my friend you are supposed to be present so you are supposed to be present that is for expectation you can take tons of examples like responsibility ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଦାୟିତ୍ୱ କଣ ଅଛି as a team leader you are supposed to take care the performance matrix of your team suppose you are a team leader ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ software firm ରେ କାମ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ବା ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ team leader ହିସାବରେ any organization ରେ କାମ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ଆପଣ ମାନଙ୍କ team ରେ ଯୋଉମାନେ ଅଛନ୍ତି ସେମାନଙ୍କ performance ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଉପରେ ନିର୍ଭର କରୁଛି କିଏ ଭଲ କାମ କରୁଛି କିଏ ଖରାପ କାମ କରୁଛି କାହାର ଲିଭ୍ ଦରକାର କିଏ ଭଲ କାମ କରିପାରୁନି କାହାର ରିଓରିଏଣ୍ଟେସନ ପ୍ରୋଗ୍ରାମ ଦରକାର କାହାକୁ ରିଟ୍ରେନିଂ କରିବା ଦରକାର ସେଇଟା କିଏ ବୁଝିବ ୟୁ ଆର୍ ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ୟୁର ରେସ୍ପନ୍ସିବିଲିଟି ସୋ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ସ ହ୍ୱାଇ ଆଜ୍ ଏ ଟିମ୍ ଲିଡର ୟୁ ଆର୍ ସପୋଜ ଟୁ ଟେକ୍ କେୟାର ୟୁ ଆର୍ ସପୋଜ ଟୁ ଟେକ୍ କେୟାର ରାଇଟ୍ and duty is something called you are supposed to look after your old parents obviously it's your duty ଆପଣଙ୍କ କର୍ତ୍ତବ୍ୟ ଏଇଟା right this is your responsibility you can call it duty okay obligation you are supposed to be present in the morning meeting to be conducted at 9 a.m. tomorrow କାଲି ଯୋଉ 10ଟାରେ 11ଟାରେ 9ଟାରେ ବା ଆପଣ ମିଟିଂ ଅଛି ଆପଣ ସେଇଠି ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ରହିବା ପାଇଁ ମୁଁ କହୁଛି ତାମାନେ ସେଇଟା ମୁଁ ଆପଣ ଇନଷ୍ଟଲ୍ କଲି ଆଉ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ କିଛି ଅପସନ ନାହିଁ obligation ହେଇଗଲା it's obligatory for you right so you are supposed to you can use it for different situation I am giving this example and believe me in your day to day life ଆପଣ day to day life ରେ ଏଇ ଜିନିଷଟା ସଦାବେଳେ ବ୍ୟବହାର କରନ୍ତୁ ବଟ୍ ଆପଣ supposed to ବ୍ୟବହାର କରନ୍ତୁ you don't use it you are very much because you feel that the modal can fill the void କାହିଁ modal ଆପଣ ପଢିଛନ୍ତି and modal can fill the void and the problem is that the modal is somewhat okay but the modal is not going to take care most of the situation because you are supposed to be modern in your approach I want it should be modern right it is more about models it is more about modal modalଟାକୁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଜଣାଇବା ପାଇଁ ପଡିବ got it so this is all about the things let me paraphrase it once more supposed to is a common phrase that functions the same way a modal verb ତାମାନେ ଗୋଟେ modal verb ର କାମ ଯାହା supposed to ମଧ୍ୟ ସେ କାମ କରେ and supposed to is not a modal verb it is just like a common phrase that can be used in four different situations what are the situation expectation ଆପଣ ଜଣକୁ ଓଡିଆରେ ମୁଁ କହିଦଉଛି ଆପଣ ରିଲେଟ କରିପାରିବେ କାହାକୁ ଆପଣ ଆଶା କରନ୍ତି ମୁଁ ଆପଣ କୁହନ୍ତିନି ଯେ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ପୁଅଙ୍କୁ ଝିଅଙ୍କୁ ବା ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଭାଇଙ୍କୁ ତାଠାରୁ ମୋର ବହୁତ ଆଶା ଅଛି ଆଶା ମାନେ କଣ ମାନେ ସେ କିଛି ଭଲ କାମ କରିବେ ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆପଣ ମତେ କଣ ଆଶା କରନ୍ତି ମୋ ଠାରୁ ଯେ ସାର୍ ଯୋଉ ଜିନିଷ ପଢାନ୍ତୁ ଭଲରେ ପଢାନ୍ତୁ ଯାହା ଆମେ ପଚାରିବୁ ସେଇଟା ସେମାନେ ସାର୍ ଆନ୍ସର ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ସାର୍ ଯେମିତି ଫ୍ରେଣ୍ଡଲି ମିଶନ୍ତୁ it is your expectation that is called expectation every day you have lot of expectations from different person different people different section of society because we are living in a society of different people so ବିଭିନ୍ନ ଲୋକଙ୍କ ଠାରୁ ଆପଣ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ପ୍ରକାର ଆଶା ଥାଏ in that particular situation in spite of knowing that I have some expectation you are supposed to do that that means ମୁଁ ଆଶା କରିଛି ଆପଣ ଏହା କରିବେ Suppose आपण गोटे मीटिंग रे पार्टी करछन मु कोन कहबी you are not supposed to make noise ता माने कोन मु आपण पार्टी करियो बोले आशा करू नथली you can use the negative because this can be also negative. Okay. And responsibility. What is responsibility? Responsibility is something that you can use whenever there is a responsibility, there is some duty or responsibility. Look, duty and responsibility almost, it looks very confusing. But that's why expectation, duty, responsibility, obligation. So these are very confusing words and confusing modals also. Shall I use could? Shall I use should? Can I use can? All the things. That's why there is a common phrase, you can say phrase, that can replace these all ambiguous modals. Only four situations. ଆପଣ ସବୁଠି ବ୍ୟବହାର କରିବେ. I have given you only four situations. In that four situation, you can use supposed to. And always remember, it is called supposed to. It is there. ଆପଣ କହିବେ ସାର୍ ସପୋଜ ହବନି ହବନି ସେଟା ସପୋଜ ରେ ଏଠି ସପୋଜ ଟୁ ନୁହେଁ ସପୋଜ ଆଉ ସପୋଜ ଟୁ ଭିତରେ ବହୁତ ହେଲ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ହେଭେନ୍ ଡିଫରେନ୍ସ ସପୋଜ ମାନେ ମାନି ନବା ଧରି ନିଅ you tell like this ଧରନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ଏମିତି କୁହନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ସିଚୁଏସନ ଧରନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ଭାବନ୍ତୁ ଗୋଟେ ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ ନିଅନ୍ତୁ ସପୋଜ ଆପଣ ସପୋଜ ଏଇ ଜିନିଷଟା ଆମେ କରିବା ସପୋଜ ଏଇ ଜିନିଷଟା କରିବା ତ ସପୋଜ is something called that your day to day life you are using it but you are supposed to is something called a common phrase. It's a common phrase that can be used in place of certain modals, because expectation, responsibility, obligation, and duty. Okay, and this is the structure. It is always used with be verb. It cannot be used. अपन कहे sir मैं have लगे परिवी की. I have supposed to never, never, never. Either you can use in the be verb present form or in the past form. Present form be verb kono each, am, are over. Past tense was where that's right. Okay, so right now something called it can use in the past tense ତା ମାନେ ମୁଁ କହିବାର ଉଦ୍ଦେଶ୍ୟ ହଉଛି ଏଟାକୁ ଆମେ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ଟେନ୍ସ ରେ ୟୁଜ କରିପାରିବା ପାଷ୍ଟ ଟେନ୍ସ ରେ ୟୁଜ କରିପାରିବା ଫ୍ୟୁଚର ଟାଇମ ରେ ମଧ୍ୟ ୟୁଜ କରିପାରିବା ସପୋଜ ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଫ୍ୟୁଚର ଟାଇମ ରେ ଏବେ ଗୋଟେ କଥା କହୁଛି you are supposed to call me tomorrow morning over ତା ମାନେ ଆପଣ ମତେ କଲ୍ କରିବ ବୋଲି ଆଶା ମୁଁ ରଖିଛି are you getting my point? So this is something called examples. I have given these examples. You can take a lot of examples. You can take a lot of examples. So what is more important, try to understand my friends. It is very interesting that ଆପଣ modal ଭଳିଆ use ହଉଥିବା ଗୋଟେ phrase କୁ ଆଜି ଆପଣ ଆବିଷ୍କାର. It is there, but today you have realized, yes, ଏଟା modal ନୁହେଁ. It's not a modal. It's a phrase. And this phrase can be used in a different situation. This phrase can be used in different situation. Responsibility. ଆଉ ବେସିକାଲି ଏ ଯୋଉ ଚାରିଟା ଜିନିଷ ଆପଣ କୁହନ୍ତି ଧରନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ କହିବେ ଯେ ଲାଇକ୍ ଆରେ ତମ ବାପା ମାର ଦେହ ଖରାପ ଅଛି ଆପଣ ଟିକେ ଯତ୍ନ ନିଅ ଆପଣ କୁହନ୍ତି ତ ସେଠି କଣ କହନ୍ତି ଆପଣ କହିବେ ସାର୍ ଏଠି ତ ଉଚିତ ଅର୍ଥରେ କିଛି ଉଚିତ ପ୍ରତି କିଛି ନାହିଁ. It is something called responsibility or it's your duty. You can say that you're supposed to take care of your parents. And believe me, the moment you say you should take care of your parents, you are supposed to take care. You become an advanced speaker. You become a native speaker because this is way the native speaker uses a lot of sentences. So you are supposed to be modern. ଆପଣ spoken English ଟାକୁ spoken English ରେ ଶିଖନ୍ତୁ. Sometimes don't learn. ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କହିଥିଲି lot of I am right now busy. Don't say I am busy. I am tired right now. I am tired of writing. I am tired of writing. I don't. I'll pay the bill. No, it's on me. So use some. You are learning something called spoken English, and spoken English is something very interesting part of your English literature. It is something called. There are so many things are there. So this is a part of total English, written English, spoken English, something called lot of things are there. But here let me tell you, spoken English ଟା ଆପଣ ଯେତେବେଳେ ପଢୁଛନ୍ତି କିଛି ନୂଆ ଜିନିଷ ଜାଣିକି ତାକୁ ୟୁଜ କରନ୍ତୁ. ଆମେ କିଛି ଏକ୍ସେପସନ ଦେଇକି ପଢୁଛନ୍ତି ସେଗୁଡା. ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କହିଥିଲି like modals is such I mean parameters that are there, some of the things are there. Without that It is very difficult for you to, sometimes it is very difficult for you to make sentence. ଯଦି ଆପଣ ଜାଣିନଥିବେ ମୋଡାଲ, ଆପଣ ସେଣ୍ଟେନ୍ସ ହିଁ କରିପାରିବେନି। ଆଉ ଯୋଉ ସେଣ୍ଟେନ୍ସ କରିବେ ସେଟା 100% ଭୁଲ। ଆମେ ଦେଖିଛେ ଫର ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ, କାଲି ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ପଢୁଥିଲେ ମଷ୍ଟ ହାଭ୍। ଏଇ ଜିନିଷଟା ସେ ନିଶ୍ଚୟ ହେଇଥିବ। ଆପଣ ମଷ୍ଟ ଲଗେଇଦେବେ, ମଷ୍ଟ ହାଭ୍ ଲଗେଇବେନି ଯଦି, ତାହେଲେ ସେଣ୍ଟେନ୍ସ ଟା ଭୁଲ ହେଇଯିବ ସେ। କାରଣ ପାଷ୍ଟରେ ମଷ୍ଟ ଲାଗିବ ନାହିଁ। ମଷ୍ଟ ହାଭ୍ ମାନେ ପାଷ୍ଟରେ ଲାଗିବ। କାମଟା ପାଷ୍ଟରେ ହେଇଛି ଆଉ 100% ହେଇଛି, ତାହେଲେ ଆପଣ ମଷ୍ଟ ଲଗେଇଲେ ହବନି। ବିକଜ ମଷ୍ଟ ଇଜ ୟୁଜ ଇନ ଦ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ଟେନ୍ସ or in the future time, not in the past tense. तो past tense ରେ ଲଗେଇବେ କେମିତି? Must ତ ଲଗେଇ ପାରିବେନି। So ଆପଣ କହିବେ sir I can use like like other things I can use like like must ଜାଗାରେ ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ had to ଲଗେଇଦେବି। So you can, but let me tell you, you are trying to be confused most of the time। ତ ସେଥିପାଇଁ କହିଲି ଯୋଉ 14 ଟା ଆମେ ଦେଇଛେ, the 14 things I have given you, that 14 words is very very important for you। 14 plus 6, 20 vocabs, that is something called modals, are very important for you. And let me tell you, this 14 modals plus 6, 20 modals are very important. Apart from this modal, today I'm going to give you something called suppose। এটা ভাবন্তু, without using the modals you can use it। Quite interesting, you can use it, right? So right now it's for you to ask me any question। I've given you already, and it's time for you to ask me any questions